Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel that is Fluent English with Akash. Guys, today in this video we shall be talking about Homer's Iliad, book number 4 to 6. Before I get into the books, let me give you a brief introduction of how the gods were divided in their opinions. Okay, so once what happened, three goddesses, namely Athena, Aphrodite and Hera. Alright, so once what happened, these three goddesses were fighting over an issue. And what was that? They were fighting over an issue that who is the most beautiful out of these three ladies. Okay, and in order to resolve this quandary, okay, these three women go to King Paris, one of the Trojans. Now what happens? All these three ladies, they say something or the other thing in their defense or in their argumentation, right? But then Aphrodite said that if Paris chooses her, then she would fetch him the most beautiful lady of the world. And guess who is that lady? The lady is Queen Helen, the wife of King Menelaus. Okay, and this is from where the entire story begins. Okay, so you can see it as the precursor to the entire story. Okay, and for that very reason, Aphrodite keeps on supporting the Trojans, and Athena and Hera, okay, both these goddesses supported the Achaeans. Okay, so some of the gods were with the Achaeans and some of them were with the Trojans. Now there comes a question that what was the basis of this support? Basically, the basis of this support was not about being righteous or being moral. No, that was not the basis. It was solely on the basis of favoritism, as I just told you in my preceding video as well, that this basis was solely favoritism. So the gods who liked somebody, for example, Jews, right? So Jews liked the Trojans, so he supported them. On the other hand, his own wife Hera supported the Achaeans. So you can see that how these gods were divided in their opinions, and they supported the Trojans and the Achaeans solely on the basis of their choice, and it was solely on the basis of favoritism. I hope this much is clear to all of you. Let us get into book number 4 without any further ado. Okay, book number 4. So what we saw in the preceding books, that Paris and Menelaus fought a brief war with each other, and in that war Paris disappeared somewhere, and it was due to the power of Aphrodite. Right, now what happens? Zeus argues that now that Paris had disappeared somewhere magically, so for that very reason, let us title Menelaus to be the king of this duel. Okay, so Menelaus had won the duel because Paris had gone somewhere. He had escaped from fighting in the battle. Now what happens? This god Zeus, he mocks at Athena and Hera because these two goddesses were so keen to support the Achaeans, and they were so keen in their resolve to see the death of the Trojans. Okay, so both these goddesses, both these goddesses, Hera and Athena, both of them were very eager to see the death of the Trojans. So for that very reason, Zeus mocks at them that how passionate these two goddesses are so as to see the death of the Trojans. Now what happened? Athena got she got infuriated, okay, and in that infuriation she disguised herself as a soldier, okay. She disguised herself as a soldier. Disguised means that she she changed her outfit and her appearance and she changed her like a soldier, and then she goes to Pandarus. Now who is Pandarus? Pandarus is a Trojan, okay. Pandarus is a Trojan and he's an archer, right? So she goes to Pandarus and she tells or she urges Pandarus to wound Menelaus, right? So she asks him to wound Menelaus, and now what happens? This person Pandarus, he his arrow hits Menelaus below the belt, and it then draws a lot of blood and it wounds Menelaus severely. Okay, but then Athena, she was supporting the Achaeans and she didn't want Menelaus to die. Okay, she urged Pandarus to hit Menelaus because she was mocked by the god Zeus. Okay, and for that very reason she urged Pandarus. Right, but then she didn't want Menelaus to die. And now ultimately what happened now? Initially after some time a kind of ceasefire was brought in between both the groups, okay, between both the warring groups. So what happened? These two groups were like, okay, we won't fight now, okay, let us take some rest and all. So but then what happened? Ultimately this truce. What is truce? Truce is this ceasefire. It means that both the groups, they decided that they won't be fighting now, and let us pause this battle for a moment and let us rest for a moment. Let us just wait for a moment. But then what happened? Athena came and she broke this ceasefire, right? And what happens? Agamemnon, the commander-in-chief of the Achaeans, okay, he comes and he spurns them by challenging their pride. Now what happens? This person Agamemnon comes and he goads, G-O-A-D-S, goads their pride. He tells them, he instills them with confidence. He tells them that you need to be courageous, you need to fight for your country, you need to be a good countryman, you need to be patriotic, you need to fight the enemies just like your forefathers did. But then towards the middle of the book series, you will get to know that at some point these two warring groups would bring about a kind of consolation. And what kind of consolation that would be? They would be like their forefathers their forefathers had always been friends with each other, okay. Their forefathers had always been friends with each other. So what is the point in fighting with each other? It means that our forefathers didn't fight at all, so why should we fight because of such petty things? But then things didn't turn out as the two soldiers had decided, and then again they went back to the battlefield and fought again with the same severity, okay, with the same seriousness and deviousness, you can say. So actually what happens? Agamemnon comes and he instills his troops with a lot of confidence, and he tells them that you need to be courageous, you need to fight for your country, you need to be responsible enough to mark the end of the Trojans, okay. And he recounts the great deeds of their forefathers, that how brave and courageous their forefathers are, and you can't escape like this, you need to fight for your country. Okay, so what we discussed in this book so far, let us quickly revise it. Okay, I'm going to reiterate it. Basically, Zeus mocks at Athena and Hera, and for that very reason, Athena goes to Pandarus, and then Pandarus, hits Menelaus with an arrow, and then Menelaus gets wounded, and but then Athena didn't want Menelaus to die, and ultimately, what happened? This ceasefire was broken, and then Agamemnon went and he instilled a lot of confidence in his troops. He told them to be courageous, to fight for their country, and bring victory to them. So he was telling all these sort of things to his troops. I hope book 4 is clear to all of you. Now let us switch to book number 5. Okay, now let us switch to book number 5. So as the battle rages, as all of you know, the battle was going on, and people were being killed, people were being assassinated. So what happens? This person Pandarus, he wounds Diomedes. Okay, this person Pandarus, he wounds Diomedes, and then Diomedes goes to Athena. Okay, Diomedes goes to Athena. Athena is one of the goddesses. Okay, so what does happen over here? Let me write for you. Okay, just wait for a moment. Okay, what is happening over here? This person Pandarus, okay, this person Pandarus, he was one of the Trojans, right? And what does he do? He wounds the Achaean hero Diomedes. Okay, he wounds Diomedes, and Diomedes got he got purple with rage. Okay, he got very angry, and then he goes to goddess Athena, and he prays to her, so that he could take revenge on Pandarus and the rest of the Trojans. Now what happens? This goddess Athena, she endows, or she bestows upon Diomedes a lot of superhuman strength, and she bestows Diomedes with extraordinary power. And what was that power? That Diomedes would be able to see all the gods on the battlefield. Okay, so Diomedes would be able to discern, he would be able to distinguish between the mortals and the immortals. The mortals were the humans who were present, who would be presenting in the battlefield, and the immortals were the ones who were gods themselves. Okay, so Diomedes would be having this this power to distinguish between who are the gods and who are the mortals. So Diomedes Diomedes would be having this power. Okay, so Athena bestows upon Diomedes this power to discern gods on the battlefield. Right, now what happens? Athena warns him. Okay, she tells him, she warns him that okay, I'm giving you this power to distinguish between the mortals and the immortals, but then don't harm me and any other god except Aphrodite. So indirectly she's saying that you cannot harm any of the god, but then harm only Aphrodite. Okay, so you can inflict pain only to Aphrodite, not to anybody else. Right, now what happens? This person Diomedes, okay, what does he do? He slaughters all the Trojans he meets. Okay, so Diomedes goes he goes bananas. Goes bananas means that he goes crazy. He becomes so obsessed about killing the Trojans that he ends up slaughtering all the Trojans he meets. Okay, and this person Pandarus, this overconfident Pandarus, he meets a tragic end by Diomedes. Okay, so what happens? This Diomedes, he comes and he slaughters, he kills, he assassinates all the Trojans he meets. Okay, and he even wounds Pandarus by his spear. Okay, and now what happened? Now what happens? The Diomedes also wounds Aeneas, and now who is Aeneas? Basically, Aeneas is also one of the Trojans. Okay, so Diomedes comes and he wounds Aeneas as well. Now what happens? The mother of Aeneas, who is Aphrodite, okay, she comes to rescue her son because her son was severely wounded. Okay, he was brutally wounded. So she comes to rescue her son. But then the time she approaches on the battlefield, at that time Diomedes comes and he cuts her wrist and wounds her. What does he do? What does he do? He cuts her wounds. He cuts her wrist and wounds her. Okay, so he cuts her wrist and wounds her. And when Apollo himself goes to Aeneas, okay, when Apollo, see, this goddess Aphrodite, she was wounded by Diomedes. And now how? Just remember one thing. I just told you that Diomedes was given a superpower that he would be able to see all the gods on the battlefield. So the time Aphrodite approached to rescue her son, at that time Diomedes was able to discern between immortals and immortals, and he could clearly see that Aphrodite has come, and then this is how he wounded her. Now what happens? Apollo also comes, and then Apollo also comes again to rescue Aeneas, but then Diomedes also wounds him. Okay, Diomedes also wounds him, and then now Hera and Athena challenges the Trojans, and both of them rallies with the Achaean troops. Okay, so these two goddesses were supporting the Achaeans, and they supported the Achaeans to a greater extent that they even ended up railing with the Achaean troops. Okay. Now Diomedes wounds Ares. Now who is Ares? Ares is the god of war. Now Diomedes wounds Ares, and Ares immediately he flies to Mount Olympus. Now what is Mount Olympus? Basically it is a kind of it is a mountain, okay, and the name of the mountain is Olympus, and it is considered as the abode or as the abode. Okay, it is considered as the abode or as the place where all the Greek gods live. Okay, so he goes to Mount Olympus and he complains to Zeus. Okay, he complains to Zeus, but then Zeus says that Ares deserved this injury. Okay, so Zeus didn't give much attention to him, and he said that you deserved this injury. Okay, so let us quickly revise what we have been taught so far. Okay. In book number 5, we saw that how Diomedes was given this superhuman strength, and he got this extraordinary power, and with this power he was able to distinguish, he was able to discern between the mortals and immortals. And in this war he not only he not only inflicted pain to the mortals but also to the immortals. He wounded Aphrodite, he wounded Ares, he wounded Apollo. So this is how the entire scenario was going on, that he not only injured, he not only caused harm to the mortals but to the immortals as well. Okay, so this is how the entire story is revolving, and revolving around whom? Revolving around one compelling theme, that is war. Okay, so war is one of the most compelling themes of this epic poem. Okay, now let us move to book number 6. Okay, so now let us move to book number 6. So now let us see what is there in this book. So the Achaean forces again overwhelm the Trojans. So now what happens? This person Menelaus, what does he do? He catches one of the Trojans, and the name of that Trojan is So this person Menelaus, he catches one of the Trojans, and the name of that Trojan is Adrestus. Adrestus, right? He catches or he conquers this Trojan soldier. Now this soldier gets frightened. Okay, he gets frightened. He gets afraid, and he does not want to be killed. But then Menelaus was like, okay, I would leave you, but in place of that, I want some ransom. I want some ransom, something precious, so that I could, I could leave you. Okay, but then what happens? This person Agamemnon, what does he do? He says that there is no need to get any ransom from these people. Just kill him. Just kill him immediately. Okay, so Agamemnon was not concerned about the luxury and the precious entities which he would be getting in place of the lives of these people. So he was more concerned about killing the people. Okay, and then this person Nestor, what does he do? What does he say? Nestor sees that how the Trojans are weakening. Okay, their power and their authority is getting lesser and lesser, and now it is time to strip them off. It is time to take their weapons from them, and now we need to concentrate on killing as many as possible Trojans. Okay, we need to kill so many Trojans now. There is no need to take any ransom from them. The main motive should be to kill them, or to cause so much of destruction in their city, to be extremely devastating, to be extremely to be extremely indestructible. Okay, to be extremely indestructible. Okay, so this was the approach of Nestor, right? Okay, sorry guys. Now what happens? A soothsayer, okay, a fortune teller comes, whose name is Helenus. Okay, he comes and he urges Hector, and he says, or he urges Hector to go to his mother, and pray at the temple of Athena. Okay, so he tells Hector that now the circumstances are not that favorable to us, so just go to the temple of Athena and pray over there. Okay, now what happens? This person Hector, he goes to Paris, and he scorns Paris. Okay, he humiliates Paris because Paris escaped from fighting in the battlefield. Okay, he was behaving like a coward, and this is not the way warriors behave. Okay, so he was humiliating Paris for not participating in the war, or rather escaping from the war. Okay, now what happens? Hector then goes to his wife. Okay, and the name of his wife was Andromache. Okay, he goes to his wife. Okay, he goes to his wife Andromache and his son Astyanax. Okay, he goes to both of them, and his wife was very she was feeling really mournful, very melancholic, because she could clearly see that her husband would die. Okay, she was getting these evil forebodings that her husband would die, and she didn't want her husband to go to the battlefield. But then Hector was he was very firm in his resolve that he would definitely go and fight in the battlefield. He is not someone who would live for longer. He was the person who would live rather a glorious life. Okay, so for that very reason he went to the battlefield. So it shows that how dutiful this lady was towards her husband. Okay, it shows her duty towards her husband, her concern towards her husband. So she didn't want her husband to go, but then Hector went to the battlefield, and he fought in the battle, and ultimately he was killed by Achilles, one of the Achaeans. Okay, so you will get to know more about this incident once we cover up some more books. You will get to know about it. Okay, so till then, remember this thing, that how sad this lady was for her husband, that her husband would die, and then this person, Hector kisses her kisses his son. He kisses his son, and initially his son got frightened by the crest of his helmet. Okay, by the crest of his helmet. Basically, there is a helmet. Okay, this is a helmet, and there are some lines over here, and these lines are called crest. Okay, and this helmet is often worn by warriors and all, and maybe by some players as well. Okay, so this boy and his son got frightened by this crest. Okay, but then finally he greeted his father happily. Okay, so what have we learned from this book? Okay, so we have got to know so much from this book, that how Menelaus was concerned about ransom, and he got even ready to leave one of the Trojans just for the sake of ransom. But then Agamemnon and Nestor were not thinking so. They were more concerned about killing as many as Trojans they could. So, and this is the way they assassinated so many of Trojans. They conquered them, and they were extremely invincible, or you can say they were kind of unsubdued. That these Achaeans and Trojans were constantly killing each other, and ultimately what happens? This person Hector, he goes to Paris, and he humiliates Paris that he didn't participate in the war, and he then goes to his wife, and both of them shared words of comfort, and his wife was not happy. She was feeling really mournful because she could see the evil omens which she was getting in her mind, that her husband would die. And this is how the entire story is going on. So I hope this much is clear to all of you. In the upcoming videos, I would be coming with the explanation of the rest of the books. So stay tuned with me, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to put your valuable comments in the comment box. And one more question, guys, do you want the overview of the entire book? For example, I have started from book number 1, but I have not given introduction yet. So do you want an introduction to the basic plot, or to the main plot of the epic poem? If you want, then do comment in the comment box. Thank you.